Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Vlogoween. Today is the 15th. I've been kind of planning to do this video for a while, and I figured that today is the day I would do it since I didn't really have time to film much. Here's my video of 5 fun Halloween party games for adults. This isn't to say that kids couldn't play these games, but I just think that these are games that adults would also find fun, which is kind of hard to find sometimes. None of these are really board games. One of them does use cards, but beyond that, these are games that pretty much anybody could play without having to purchase really much of anything, maybe some stuff from the dollar store. So, game number 1 is something that I've seen suggested on a lot of websites. And honestly, I would love to play this, but I think that it wouldn't really work that well in our house. It's a game called Murder in the Dark. Basically what this game is you take the Joker, the Ace, the King, and the Queen from a deck of cards, and then you take random number cards to make up the number of the rest of your guests, and you hand out the cards at random. People who get the cards look at what they got, and whoever got the Joker is the murderer, and then the Ace is the detective, the King is the detective if the first detective dies, and the Queen is the detective if the second detective dies. And then once everybody knows who they are, they keep it a secret, they don't tell each other. You turn off all the lights in the house, or most of the lights in the house, so it's pretty dark, and everybody just sort of wanders from room to room, and when the murderer gets somebody alone in a room, secretly they whisper to them, "You're dead." From this point on, I've seen it 2 ways. One way is they count backwards slowly from 10, scream, fall over dead. Then the lights get turned on and the detective, and they get 1 chance to try and guess who the murderer was. If they're incorrect, then they are also dead and the next detective gets a chance to solve it. If all 3 detectives fail to solve the murder, then the murderer wins. The other way I've seen it played is that when the murderer catches somebody in a room and they whisper, "You're dead," that person stays quiet and they just freeze in place or lay down on the ground quietly, and they stay that way until another guest finds them, and then they yell out and the whole process goes. The murderer actually gets a chance to commit more than 1 murder, which actually makes it harder for them to get away with as well. Game number 2 is a Halloween scavenger hunt, one that you would use your cell phone camera to take pictures and or video of things instead of actually collecting them. And for adults, it's kind of a fun idea if you can have everybody like drive around town, if you find landmarks, recognizable businesses, statues, and instead of just saying, you know, go here, take a picture of a pumpkin, make like riddles so people have to solve them. Put the riddles in a different order on each team's list so that they don't end up necessarily at the same place at the same time. And if you're a little more adventurous than just doing photos, you could do a video version where you need to interact with an object or a person or a store, or say go into a Tim Hortons and buy a Halloween donut and then have somebody eat it on video. Something just a little more complicated than simply taking a picture of a pumpkin. That way too, you can use the photos and or video and put them up on display for the night, and it adds a little bit of fun, customized entertainment for the evening. Game number 3 is a horror movie survival game, or have you learned anything from horror movies? You have a list of questions, and you can find all kinds of these online. I found one with a simple Google search where it is different horror scenarios. You would divide your guests up into groups or teams, and they have 30 seconds after hearing the horror scenario to come up with their plan that the speaker then announces to the rest of the room to implement and survive this horror scenario. And then the judge would award points based on how well they think that person solved the scenario. Some examples of questions that may be in this game are: what is the number 1 sign that it is time to move out of your current house? Or, you hear a noise in the house. You decide to investigate what caused it and discover it was only the cat. What should you do? Game number 4. This one is a little bit more spooktacular, and I think that I might actually play this game at my upcoming Halloween party this year, is candle fortune telling. So what it is pretty simple. You get a bunch of different colored candles, maybe even just like a pack of multicolored birthday candles, and stand them all up in a candle holder of some kind. You assign a different value to each candle, such as green means wealth, and red means love, and purple means career, who knows. Then, one at a time, you take your guests, put a little blindfold on them, and spin them around until they're a little bit disoriented. Point them towards the table and have them blow out a candle. And whichever one that they happen to blow out is supposed to indicate what their future holds for that year. You could get a little more in depth with it and try and come up with deep explanations for it, but I think it's a pretty fun idea. And game number 5 is Monster Guess Who. This one is pretty simple and makes for a good icebreaker if you're having a lot of people over who don't necessarily know each other. You simply take a piece of scotch tape and put it on your guest's back as they arrive at the party. Take a marker and write on their back the name of a classic movie monster or some type of Halloween related persona that would be recognizable. They have to go around and simply ask yes or no questions to the other guests until they can figure out who they are, what the name on their back is. So it might be like Frankenstein, Dracula, Godzilla, who knows. It makes a pretty good icebreaker game anyways. So that is my list of 5 fun party games for Halloween parties for adults. I definitely would play any and all of these, and in fact maybe implementing some of them this year for some Halloween parties. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment down below which one of these games you would be most likely to play and or enjoy. And if you have any other cool Halloween party games, let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow for some more Halloween video goodness. Bye.